Hello, I am one of the Gamers Nexus Patricks. I am here with what Andrew has just described as a black rectangle, but it is not one of the other Fractal designs like the Define series or the Meshify series that are black rectangles. This is an entirely new design. This is the Fractal Torrent. It is an airflow-focused case, and we're pretty excited about it, just from the perspective that it comes with 5 fans, 2 of which are really big. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But we will have a review of this up. It should be live when this behind the scenes video goes up, or it will be soon. But we wanted to give it a little bit more attention because it's a really interesting case. So let's just go front to back. Here in the front, they've got, it's not the normal Fractal Meshify pattern. They've got a mesh-fronted case, but for the first time in a while, it is a new design. So they've got this kind of decorative ribbing here, but they've got a filter behind it that clips into place. And coming with the case stock, they've got 2 180 millimeter fans. These are not 200 millimeter fans, they're 180 millimeter. We haven't seen those in a while. The last time we've seen them in a case that we reviewed was the RVO2, which is a very old case at this point, but remains at the top of our performance charts. And that is thanks in large part to these 180 millimeter air penetrator fans. These are AP 181s. Silverstone later went on to make AP 182s and AP 183s, but really nobody else did. Silverstone was kind of out there alone making 180 millimeter fans until Fractal has come along just now and introduced their new, I think they're GP18s. It's not very imaginative naming. So these fans are new. They're pretty chunky. They are very thick as well as being wide 180 millimeter fans. I think we measured them. They're like, the frames are maybe 36 millimeters thick, which is bigger even than these old air penetrators. So that's the most distinctive aspect, but we've also got kind of an interesting airflow arrangement here where they've got 3 bottom intake fans. These are all 140 millimeter fans. There's going to be a lot of airflow going into the GPU here, and then in the back of the case, they've got it fully ventilated, all mesh, no stock fans back here, and a power supply mount on the top. That's another kind of old school feature, but it lets them have this full suite of bottom intake fans here going directly into the GPU and funnel air through the CPU cooler and the GPU cooler. I'll be kind of interested to see how liquid-cooled builds adapt to this. If you have a CLC, for example, you might want to bring your own fans, and then that kind of messes with the stock arrangement. You know, what do you want to do with these fans if you're bringing your own? These 180 millimeter fans can be mounted in the bottom of the case, and these 140s can be mounted in the front using these rails that are shipped with the case. So here on the back, this is one of the, I guess, stranger features of the case. They've got these loops here. These are clearly for cable management, but they're for cable management on the outside of the case. Because the power supply is mounted at the top here, you've got a power cable coming out, and Fractal's seen fit to put these loops here so that you can strap all of your cables to the case itself and not have a bunch of cable mess sticking out of the back. So the top of the case here, it's got thumb screws on it. There's not... Andrew's laughing because he said the thumb screws were an interesting feature, so now I'm pointing them out. These are captive. So this top comes off here. The main reason you would want to take this off is to put the power supply in, but it's actually pretty handy for liquid cooling as well because Fractal has put these fill ports here. So if you choose to mount a reservoir in the case, that's what all of these rails are for. Typically a Fractal case of this size would have a bunch of hard drive trays right here, but instead they've put these reservoir mounting holes. So you could put a reservoir right there and then have a funnel or even a tube connecting to the reservoir from up here, and then you can refill your loop just by taking the top panel off. I don't want to go into too much more detail. We will have thermal results and more thoughts on building in the case in the full review, but just wanted to highlight something that Fractal's doing that is really different, which is good for them. They've made a lot of cases that are big black rectangles, as Andrew put it, and good for the industry in general, because we really haven't seen a ton of stuff like this outside of the, well, the Silverstone RVO2 and this poor Cooler Master case that we've chopped up and turned into a Cyberpunk build. I think that was the SL06, maybe? Don't quote me on that. All right, thanks for your support. Check back in for the full case review, and keep an eye on Patreon for a video from Patrick Stone on some of the power supply stuff that he's been working on. And I'll see you guys next time.